What's up guys? This is an idea for a feature that I've seen a ton of people asking for, and I think it would fit in the New World perfectly with some tweaking. It's arenas, and I think the potential for it to be added to the game is pretty high, so I'm wanting to start a discussion with some of the ideas I've seen or thought of, and I'm hoping you all comment with some of your ideas or even what you disagree or agree with in the video, so that way maybe we can refine the idea and give Amazon Games a starting point. So from the updates we've received so far, they seem to be lacking on the PvP side. The Outpost Rush 20v20 is a nice addition, and I hope to see more things like this. But I feel like it's not enough to keep the PvP people interested. In its current state, it looks like the game might not have a reason to PvP outside of just enjoying it. I love PvP in almost every game, and it's the part of most games that keep them interesting and content filled, because with solid PvP, you can have almost endless content because each person is different. So each time you face somebody, it's going to be slightly different. Even though it's the same game after thousands of hours, it could still be fun and keep you learning more and more about the game, and it's honestly fun. There's a lot of big budget games that do exactly this, like League of Legends, Dota, Fortnite, Rust, just to name a few. People play these games for multiple thousands of hours and still get on every day excited to play because each game is different. Each time you learn how to adapt to other players' playstyles. So now with that in mind, I want to give you all a potential idea that I've been pretty adamant about. One that I think that New World needs badly to capture the PvP audience that they've lost touch with. The idea is similar to the typical arena in WoW, but there's a few key differences that allow the arenas to tie together with towns, companies, and PvE players, all of which would be supporting the PvP player. The arenas would have one set location that players would need to go to. The best area I could think of is in the middle of the map, because it doesn't limit new players too much from being able to partake if they want to fight other low levels, and it would also not affect high level players. The arena could have changing themes based on what company has the highest contribution. And while we're talking about contribution, companies and your average player could contribute resources in gold to upgrading arenas with aesthetic changes or even buffs for the players that partake in the duels. A possible feature is for companies and even players as a whole to sponsor a player or small team in the form of gold or maybe even resources, in which the company or players would also get a percent back for any rewards won, assuming that the player agreed to the sponsor. Now for the real juice of this whole thing. Since we're talking about arenas, we might as well have tournaments, in which it would function like a typical tournament. As many players could start as they want, then they face off, and the winners of each face off, so on, until we get to the final winners of the server. Then we pit the winners of each server against each other, making each server face off till we find the true champion of the arena. The winner could get a special title, maybe a cosmetic item, that you can only unlock by winning in the finals of the arena. Now for the details on how some of this stuff could work, be sure to tell me what you guys agree with or not. So for the duels themselves, I think they need to be instanced. I know, this is a touchy subject with New World players, but I think the importance of instance content has been slightly overlooked. A lot of developers do this, not because it's easy. It's done to keep dungeons, or even in this case, the arenas, in a different shard of the same server. So it doesn't need to be thinking about what players are doing on the other end of the map, which greatly reduces the chance for desync, rubber banding, and so on from happening in the first place. The only thing the server needs to worry about is all the player mechanics going on and the physics of all the attacks from the players, making it far more reliable and overall user-friendly. And for a competitive arena, you need every attack to be registered, otherwise, what's the point? There needs to be a matching system that spans all of the servers, due to the fact that some servers might have a dead population, and on top of that, one player might vastly outskill his entire server, leaving no room for that person to enjoy challenging duels outside of the finals. This happens with most skill systems that are only on a single server and not connected to the others. Like on WoW, there's always one person that blew every one of the top raters on their server out of the water on damage, but if you looked at every single server, they had a lot of competition. This is mainly looking at top 1 to 3% players, because once you get that good, it's extremely hard to find a challenge. And if there's no challenge, then there's no game, and no reason to improve in the first place. Now for the themes or arena location, I think it's important to have different fillings and different layouts and scenery to the arenas. Like for example, one might be on the edge of the Shattered Mountain and have a cliff that you could be knocked off and have big inclines and big hills. Another might be a flat grassy field with a stream of water in the middle. One way this could work is to have a set location that the arenas are in, which can be upgraded from contributions from companies and players, and the highest upgrade arena has a higher chance to be played on when the players get connected to play in that server through the matchmaking. And maybe the arena would have preset layouts and themes so that anyone who contributed over a certain amount could vote on. So each server would have a different feel. Each arena would be slightly different, but not wildly different. For the final thing, you should be able to spectate the arena fights and finals, maybe even place bets on them with other players. I'm not sure how they would make this work if it's instant, but I think that this is a pretty important feature to create a social aspect like no other MMO has, at least when it comes to PvP. That's mostly it for this long-winded idea for arenas. In most games, I'm a competitive player. I think growing in skill and understanding of the mechanics is the best thing most games have to offer, but a lot of games don't give you the option to grow and compete at the highest level that you can. If done correctly, good PvP can create endless content for players to enjoy, and I think that this could be a step to get PvP closer to where it should be in the game. There's definitely some things to iron out and some possible features I didn't mention. Feel free to tell me what all you agree or disagree with, or maybe even what you would add, and we can talk about it. The only way forwards is to start the discussion. I hope in the future we hear more on PvP, as I feel it's in need of some love. And New World could have a ton of potential for amazing PvP. They just need to realize it. I hope you all enjoyed, and as always, have a good one.